couple different things. People in the room have a sheet. It's a T sheet. It's very simple. Takeaways on the left side, and maybe we're already writing on that. I saw some of you work. And on the right side, questions, thoughts, create things, doodle productively, whatever it is. But if you're at home, what we're going to ask you to do is take notes in some way, shape, or form. Hopefully you were, because Zach just shared a whole bunch of great knowledge that you couldn't see in green, but hopefully you heard about that. More to come. You can learn it from the people here. And that's actually going to tie in nicely to what we're going to be talking about in a little bit. So let's make sure that I can click around here. Oh, that'll do. All right. So a couple different things. We're going to try to get this zoomed in even more here. So hey, everybody on Zoom, this will be nice. Because if we can get this right, you guys can see some things. We'll send out as much of the slides as we can within reason. We'll try that out. And I will tell you what's on the slides, and I'll tell you what people in the room are saying. For people who are on Zoom as well, we're going to ask you to do some activities. There are going to be some activities, by the way, everybody. We don't have the piñata we promised, Jordan, but at the same time, we're going to be doing some activities. We're going to ask you guys to do some things because in the end, we want you to get a lot out of today. Okay, so quick show of hands of people in the room. Did anyone learn anything with Zach real quick? I don't know about you guys. If you didn't raise your hand, I'm going to make more money at least, so that's good. All right, pathways to health and wealth, you guys. Let's dive in. We're all here for, oh, okay, I see what's happening. Jordan hit this, or some, Jordan's fault, Jordan's fault. Okay, all right. So people on Zoom, what I'd love for you to do is actually type things. Zach is going to be continually checking the chat, and he's going to be your voice. So Zach, you can literally just like say things within reason. All right, we're all here for a reason. So what it breaks down, you guys, we've got a little color code today. Yellow is like, hey, pay attention. Blue is stuff that's related to you and the Keller Williams team and leadership team. And I'm going to like move out of the way from time to time so you can see. But here's the deal. You have things that matter to you. And in Seafoam is the things that we're going to focus on for all of us because we're here to get you those things. I'm kind of a greedy person. I don't know if you got that already, but I'm kind of a greedy person and I'm very impatient because I want you all to have the things you all wanted in your lives yesterday and with no effort at all. But that's not reality. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive in today because I've got some expectations here. So I'm just going to throw these all up here. Top left. Engage and share, please. I'm going to ask questions. I'm literally going to ask questions. I'm going to ask you to say something. Just say words back to me, please. It'll be good. Share, be vulnerable. Upper right, make it your own. I'm going to say a lot of stuff today. It is useless. It's useless until you turn it into your language, your life, and your application. Make it your own. Does anyone know what WIIFM is? Anyone on Zoom? Anybody else? What's in it for me? The best radio station on the planet. You need to focus on how this applies to your life because the world of health, which is my realm, is massive. It's filled with things that you think you know and stuff that you don't know yet. And in reality, it's all about making it fit for you. Bottom right, learn fast. So WIIFM is from Jim Quick. Fast, F-A-S-T, is a thing you can apply to take in information really quickly and utilize more often. So here's how it starts. F, forget what you know or what you think you know, in this case about health. We've all learned things via Instagram. Some of them are true. Some of them are really false. And some of them are in between and contextual. So forget what you know, at least for now. A, learning is active. We're going to ask you guys to engage with the content, write down notes, think of questions. Heckle me via Zoom. I can't see it anyway. S is state. I'm guessing most of us here went to class, went to school at some point in time. Thing which without emotion is just a short-term memory which we will lose in time. Information plus emotion is something that is going to stick into our long-term memory, which is why we can remember some of the saddest, happiest, coolest, greatest, most exciting things in our lives because an emotion is tied to that experience, that information. So what I'm going to ask you to do is be selfish today. Focus on something that gets you excited. Otherwise, you're not going to care, and you, person on Zoom not paying attention, is going to forget. Lastly, what Zach is talking about, do something. Just do something. Something is always better than nothing. In fact, for those of you who like math, Zach, 1 divided by 0 is infinity, so it's freaking way better. So do something. It's always better to do something. We're going to have action steps coming out of it today. All right, something to know. There's going to be a lot of reflection. I'm going to ask you a lot of feely questions from time to time. And what it comes down to is this. I'm going to talk about me. I'm going to talk about my team and what we do and the model we're applying for you guys through this seminar series. But one of the things that we've really found is that the people who have the most success, particularly in health, but I think we can extrapolate to other realms of life, they tend to the RDA. Does anyone know what the RDA is? Anyone on Zoom? Silence. Okay, good. Maybe people don't have fingers. It's okay, they can't type. So the RDA, typically people are talking about like multivitamins, micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, whatever. But in this case, reflect, decide, and act. The people who can go through that cycle the most often and the most quickly, the quickest, those people see the best results. And what that is you reflect on something that you observe in your life. In this case, related to health. And we're going to talk about how to look at that. You make a decision based on that reflection. It's imperfect information, but you've seen what you've seen, so now you got to do something. And you take action based on that decision. And the person who can go through that and iterate the quickest, kind of like an engineer would, figure out what to do, reflect, observe, change it, tweak it, that person gets the best results. So please embrace it today. So enough about you people. Let's talk about me. So I'm not going to tell you about my childhood. It was pretty good. But what I'm going to say is that this whole story starts, this whole path to health starts actually kind of like Zach. We have these interesting nonlinear roads. I was in school for bioproducts and biosystems engineering, and I was working really hard to be really mediocre. And I busted my butt and I made it through the degree. But in my junior year of college, I was reading a book by Charles Duhigg called The Power of Habit, which I can recommend 90% of it. The last 10% I didn't love. It was a weird ending. And he has this expression, which is that chaos is the most fertile time for change. And if anyone's lived in a pandemic, you kind of might feel that, might see that a little bit. I've come to live my life by that because during that time, my mother was diagnosed with cervical cancer and passed away. I know, hard left, you guys, but my mom was diagnosed with cervical cancer and passed away when I was in college in about a 10-month cycle. And that made me say, what do I want to do with my life? Because it's clearly short and it may end sooner than I want. As it turns out, my life was flipped upside down and I decided, hey, I want to get into proactive wellness. The kicker, though, is becoming a physician, kind of like Zach mentioned, is hard, lots of school, very expensive. We all probably know someone who's in that realm right now. So I decided to take the lowest barrier to entry that I could, and I became a personal trainer. You need like $200 in the internet and a few weeks of studying, maybe. So not to knock anyone who knows a trainer. I like to think I'm pretty good, but whatever. So what happened, I got into a very large company, one of the biggest in the world in terms of fitness. I had a lot of success as a trainer and a coach. I started to move into a role in medical spaces where I got to do education for trainers, clinicians, dietitians, physicians, patients, whatever. And the whole idea was to get better results. And I traveled around the country to do this education. And I then came back to apply that, managing the most successful team in the entire company. So it's one of the most successful in the world, which is kind of a fun thing to say. But one of the big things that came out of it is that everybody's dealing with the same problems. Everybody's running into the same problems, from doctors to the trainer who just got a $200 certification online and is trying to figure out what they want to do with their life. And so this model, what we're going to talk about in the 6-week seminar series, actually dovetails nicely with what Zach is going to be talking about through this whole time, just from a different side and different perspective. And it's all about how we resolve those problems. Does that make sense? All right. Okay, engagement time. Some quick questions for you guys. So, state of the state. This one, you can show of hands, whatever you want to do. But do you feel, people here, people on Zoom, do you feel you care for your mind, your body, and your health? Like your career depends on those things? 1 out of 3. I saw a hand go up. I saw some, yeah, kind of. Anyone on Zoom? Are you going to type a thing? Somebody please type a thing. Anybody? Oh my God, yes. Okay.
Yes.
Intended. That's fantastic. So whether you said no, maybe, kind of, yes, I'd like to, doesn't matter. It's all about reflecting right now. There's no judgment here. How equipped are you personally to grow your stress resilience and resist burnout in, well, let's be real, commission structures are tough. You can be widely rewarded for doing great work and pushing yourself, but you've got to make it work long term. How do you keep going, prevent burnout? Just think about that one silently to yourself. Okay, show of hands. Are you currently working to improve your well-being and self-care right now? Anybody? Doing anything? Yes, brushing your teeth counts. Okay, thank you. The room is mostly full. All right, now here's the thing. We often talk with our coaches in terms of the gear of change someone's operating in. We have 3 gears: sprint, steady, and slog, because I like alliterations. Sprint, you're driving something. It is not sustainable. You're that person who's like, I'm fired up. I want to make change. I want to really move the needle here. Steady is what we mostly can sustain for most of the year. We're going to need breaks from that too, but you are making change on a regular basis. That's a great pocket to live in. And then the slog is you're like, I would like to, but I'm not. I'm struggling with something. I don't really want to. I hate health. I don't care. Somewhere in that spectrum, but think about where you fall. Maybe write it down. because whatever notes you take today, I'm going to ask you to go back to in time. By the way, Zach, whenever we get to, oh wait, I've got a clock here. Never mind. I was going to say, just tell me where we're at pacing wise so I move faster if needed. Let's talk numbers. So when I went to engineering school, I hated problem solving, I hated systems thinking, I hated spreadsheets, and I really hated numbers. Now I love all those things because they're useful tools for us to have really badass health solutions. Sorry for those of you who I swore. So here we go. The code, blue, left side, I'm looking at you people on Zoom, blue. That is stuff for you to work on with your team, your coaches, your trainers, leadership, yourself. Seafoam, that's what we're gonna focus on and talk about. Red, bad stuff. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna be making a case that you being healthier, I'm just gonna say it right now, there's no like rabbit out of the hat. I'm gonna say right now, you being healthier, you will make more money. Let that settle. Okay, you being healthier, we're gonna make a case for it. So we know highly engaged people are 21% more profitable. Well, what is a highly engaged person? That's interesting. That is someone who shows up with presence and someone who shows up with energy in their day-to-day life. More on that in a bit. Now, what's interesting, though, is the opposite of engaged is presenteeism. Now, Andy, you can't say anything. Jordan, you can't say anything because you guys know this. Does anyone here know what presenteeism is? Just showing up. Just showing up. But isn't like 80% of battle is showing up? Well, yeah, exactly. Just showing up. Your body in the room, your work appearing. You are in work formation, but you're not actually driving it the way that you are capable of. So presenteeism happens for a variety of reasons. Insufficient nutrition, body pain or tightness, low quality sleep, a low motion lifestyle, poor stress resilience, and even substance-based coping. Usually a combo of these things at different times of year. What's really interesting is that if your productive days, i.e. the things that help you to drive profit, go up to that 21% increased profitability by being engaged, if those days are dropped by 35 a year, the thing that's unfortunate is we don't know when it's coming, and it is not consolidated. So you've got these days scattered throughout the year. You are driving, you're networking, you're getting clients, you're doing lead gen, oh my God. And you are really making moves, and then life happens, and you are not able to show up as the engaged person that you are. So when that happens, we have 35 days sprinkled throughout the year. And that's on average, by the way, you guys. Some people are less, some people are more. And that is breaking up your ability to function at your highest level, make the kind of money you're capable of. But let's talk about sports ball. So these guys could actually be retired, and I don't know because I'm really out of touch with sports. But nobody bothers Tom, Russell, or LeBron. So Tom Brady spends $190,000 a year on his food, and it's apparently mostly chicken. Russell Wilson spends $1 million a year training, recovery, mental, emotional support, food, you name it. LeBron James, $1.5 million a year. And nobody bothers these people. So my question to you, somebody please say something. Why do you think that is? Why do you think nobody bothers them for spending that kind of cash on those things? They envy them. They're great at what they do. It's an investment. Oh. Anything else? Anyone on Zoom? Okay. Crickets. That's okay. That's fine. I'm just going to keep saying things. You guys will probably hate me by the end of this. If you don't sign off, that's a compliment. So people don't bother these people because, well, a few different things. Yes, all those things you guys just said. And on top of that, we might say, hey, well, they have the money for it, right? These guys make absurd amounts of money. They can do it. And someone might also say, hey, you know what? Well, the fate of their career, the fate of their team, and the fate of the industry that makes insane amounts of money off of their performance depends on the mind that they have, the body that they have, and the health that they have. But the interesting thing is, even though the pay scale might be different, I'm going to make the same argument that applies to you. You have to care for your mind, your body, and your health. Because what we know is that a person from data is more profitable if they show up and they're more engaged, because they have more energy and presence, because they've done the underlying root foundation work to take care of their mind, their body, and their health. Does that make sense? Okay. Loren is nodding. Thank you. Thank you. Great 80s outfit. You guys can't see that right now, but anyway, really nice. Yeah, show it later, please. We'll do an intermission for you, I guess. I don't know. Okay. All right. So does anyone feel like their job by the way, Andy's leaving the room right now, so you can say whatever you want. You can say whatever you want now. Does anyone ever feel like the work they do, the job they show up to on a regular basis can be hard at times? No. Everyone's like, yes, oh my God, yes. Yeah. I mean, I know. Yeah, why would you ask that question? I'm crying right now. So as someone who's only worked in commission-based environments for my entire career, I can say that I get that, okay? There's the up and down, the ebb and flow, and that challenge. And what Zach and I are here to do is make sure that you guys have less burnout, less overwhelm long-term. So what Zach is talking about is using your money in a very smart way. Now, what I'm going to be talking about is the other side of it, which is how do we set you up to be making the most money possible, but also being minimally harmed by your process of making that money. That's what we're really talking about. How do we give you that resilience? So left side of the screen, Seafoam. Actually, I'm sorry, blue, talent, discretionary effort. That's for you guys. We'll talk about it later. Time, energy in the Seafoam. Effective time, energy, and talent management can increase your productivity by up to 40%. Whoa now. On the flip side of that, burnout, not using your time super well, not using your energy super well, is seen in the US by over 50%, 52 to 74% of employees. That is a huge number. That's huge. And I got that from multiple sources, so we know it's at least probably close from one of those. So here's the deal. On the right side, what leads to burnout? Chasing completion over impact. We're not focusing on potency, we're focusing on keeping up. It's a to-do list. Gary Keller has a great quote on to-do lists and why they suck. Ignoring self-care. If you don't take care of yourself, you're going to get burnt. Fact. Having an external locus of control, where I come back to that, and having insufficient stress resilience. Does anyone know what locus of control is referring to? It's your perception of how much you can impact your world, your life, and your existence. If you have an external locus of control, you feel that things happen to you. They do not happen for you. That is also known as a victim mindset. Internal locus of control is the flip of that, but it's hard to get to. Now, here's the thing. If you're drained of time, if you're drained of energy, you're going to be missing out on discretionary effort. We call that willpower in different ways. But discretionary effort, if you are still required to do things to be successful, but you don't have much discretionary effort left, you're running on empty and you're taking out a loan for the gas, I guess. Either way, you are going to be running out. You're going to be getting burnt. That is a recipe for burnout. Now, what's really interesting, though, is high burnout is over here, people on Zoom. High productivity is over here, people on Zoom. And the things that move us away from high burnout to high productivity, interesting, the things that move us away from high burnout are the things that move us to high productivity. That means shifting to an internal locus of control. What can I do to impact my world, my existence, and what can I prioritize? Having an impact mindset. The one thing Gary Keller said. Systems building. More on systems building later. Building up your stress resilience. You've seen it like 9 times on the slides already. In case you haven't noticed, it matters. And then from there, having some kind of quality self-care. That stuff leads to high productivity. Now here, if you've been checked out this whole time, yellow, it's a loud slide. I get it. I'm sorry, but I need you to pay attention. So engaged people are more profitable, productive, and resilient. We have data to support that, and we're going to talk about how we get there. So I'm a productive, positive person, I'd like to think. I'm very optimistic overall, but I love focusing on problems. I love problems because they represent our issues checklist. If you know all the stuff that is stopping you from getting where you want to go, then you know what you've got to dismantle, even though it looks ugly. So we have these things. These are the boxes from the previous slides. But what we know is if we let those things persist, we're going to have a reduction in productivity, an increase in burnout risk, and a reduction in willpower, i.e. discretionary efforts, so that you have that kick to do the things that other agents maybe cannot do or are not able to do because they are too burnt. You're not. So what do we do? No matter what, we need ice cream, everybody. Everyone's like, yes, praise be, we get ice cream. So that's not the food for the day, I'm sorry. It's getting cold anyway. All right, so here's the deal. This is the no matter what solution. Ice cream represents a no matter what solution. Whether you try to DIY this stuff, you follow some of the guided action steps that Zach and I provide, and I will be providing more of these for health in particular following these seminars, or actually following today and then throughout these seminars. You can go find an app. You can find a YouTuber you want to follow. You can do some things. You can listen to a friend who seems like they know what they're talking about. You need ice cream, and that ice cream is the no matter what solution. It looks like this. We are right now establishing a beautiful wellness culture just right here at Keller Williams Roseville. And we're going to provide resources that help us to build self-care skills, by the way. There's a lot of like, oh, good, bad morals around health. And that's not what this is about. This is about objective problem-solving, systems building, and really skills thinking. What that looks like is spending your willpower in an intelligent manner. We'll talk about that to build systems in fitness, food, and capacity. Now, if you heard fitness and food and you're like, yeah, I know what those are about, please, again, forget what you think you know. I know you don't know what capacity is because I made it up. All right, so I want to talk about my flavor of ice cream, our flavor of ice cream, what my team at Health Engineered does, because this is literally the model we're just going to share with you guys through this 6-week seminar series. That's what this is about. Pause. Do you guys have questions at this point? I have a newborn. That's why. You just ride the cortisol high. This is me tired. Okay. She said, how do I have so much energy? Anyway, all right. And this is green tea. All right. So here's what we do. We are on a mission to redefine health and how everyday people achieve it. Actually, let me go back to that. I have a lot of energy about this stuff because I am so excited at how small changes in a person's health and well-being can massively manifest entirely enormous change in someone's everything. Your relationships, the quality of your work, the money you make, pick a thing, even how you stand. All right, so if we're on a mission to redefine health and how everyday people achieve it, people in the room, people on Zoom, there is literally no right answer, so type something. What is health to you? If I just say health, like if someone's healthy, what do you think of? Good shape. All aspects, mental, emotional, and physical. All aspects, says Jordan. It's a trifecta. It's not just one or the other. It's a triangle, she said. I mean, it's a trifecta, yeah. Any other things? Any other things? What comes to mind when you think? It's how you feel about yourself. Anything on Zoom? All right. That hurts, Zoomers. Okay. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else come to mind? A feeling of tranquility. Well, you guys are like the most holistic up on things people I've ever heard. People are usually like, you go to the doctor and they say you're not sick, you're not gonna die, like your blood panels are confusing, but they seem okay. Like, all right, here's the deal. All that stuff is true. Right, exactly. Yeah. All this stuff is true. You're all freaking right. And here's the thing, when it comes down to it, traditional health it's not sexy. It lacks sex appeal, people on Zoom. And we need it to be sexy for you, okay? Blush. So here's the deal. If you're actually gonna work on health, if you're gonna go after something that matters, it's gotta matter to you. Whoa. So if we think about having the health you want, chances are your mind and body feel the way you want them to feel. Your mind and body can do the things you might ask it to do, whatever the heck that is, low key, high key. If you weren't paying attention, hopefully this slide caught your attention. All right, so if you care about the way you look, your body looks the way you want it to look. Trust me, I found these slides and I was like, jackpot. All right, and from there, oh man, your body and mind and your life are gonna allow you to do more of the things you love with the people you care about. That's how we know for most people, you're probably gonna have the health you want. So at takeaway, please redefine health for what you want. It falls in those buckets, how I feel, what I can do, what I look like, and what my life looks like. That's why we can make this claim that you're gonna make more money. So here we go, activity time, old friend test. So in case you guys have not noticed, I like to talk. And I say a lot of things, and years back, I was working with a client, and I could not figure out what the heck does this person want. We've been working together for a while. What is the direction? They didn't know, I don't know, so I had to pull it out of them. And I started babbling, and probably about 10 minutes into it, I came up with this thing called the old friend test. And we use this in every single consult we do with a potential client. So for those of you in the room, pens, papers, please type it down. I don't care what you do with it. People on Zoom, write it down somewhere because I am going to ask you to use this seminar too. If you guys decide to show up next time, seminar 2, we're going to keep going. So this is a cumulative story we're building here. These are not just cut and paste chapters that show up from random places. This is all going somewhere. So here's what we're going to do. The old friend test goes like this. You are seeing someone who knows you well. A friend, a family member, somebody who knows you well, and they haven't seen you in quite a while. Maybe a pandemic happened. Maybe they didn't feel like traveling to you, whatever it is. But in the end, the old friend test is about getting clear on what you want. Because you've been living your change. You've been living the results. You've been living it, all that stuff really gradually. Bodies move so fast, yet so gradually at the same time. So this person, it's not about their validation. You validate yourselves, but at the same time, they are experiencing all of your change in one moment. They're seeing it all. So what will they perceive about you? How will you feel? How will you act? Will you have an accent for some reason? What will your life look like? How will you look? Write it down. And here's the deal. I'm going to bring this back. If it's not sexy to you, no one's going to do it. You're not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I don't want your goals. I want my goals. I don't want Zach's goals. Sorry, Zach. He wakes up too early. But this guy wakes up at 4 a.m. for what it's worth. It's insane. And I have the baby. So yeah, he goes to bed at 8. Granddad's going to bed at 8. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna give you guys a couple minutes here. It's quiet time. Break out the crayons. All right, we're gonna give you a couple minutes here. Jot down some things, please. And if you already wrote it down and you're done, then chances are we can go a little further. Get as visual as you can. Dive into it. Get yourself excited, because here's the deal. If you do it right, this is going to come in seminar 2 on motivation, willpower, and how to have more. If you do it right, you will daydream about this stuff in the car while still paying attention to the road. You'll daydream about it when you're in a boring conversation with somebody. You don't want to be there. You will think about this in your free time because it is so tantalizing, it is so compelling, and it is so sexy. Don't be alarmed. I'm going to be quiet now, so you guys write. Again, people on Zoom, this is, you're seeing a friend, haven't seen them in a while. What will they perceive about you? How will you feel? How will you act? What will your life look like? And how will you look if you care about that? People in the room, when you think you've got it, just like throw your pen down aggressively or something so I can hear something that tells me, hey, that was nice. People on Zoom. Right, perfect, thank you. Hey guys, do you feel like we got something? Wrote some things down, thought some thoughts? By the way, you might also have some of these things going on right now. You might be on your way. You might already be there. And you're like, I just want to keep this stuff. That's fine. It's not always about going and acquiring something new. Sometimes this is about actually keeping what you got. And that's actually a big part of this. All right. By the way, this is a starter. This is a fire starter here. So I hope you guys keep thinking about this. Really make it real, make it more clear. That's part of the activity between now and next Thursday. All right, let's talk about how health actually happens, okay? There are 5 things that go into making health happen in whatever way it is that you want. Feel the way you want to feel, do the things you want to do, look the way you want to look, live the life that you want. What's interesting is most people are hitting on 1, 2, maybe 3 of the 5, 60% at most, and that is anomalous, let's be clear. And usually, only one of those things is done fairly solidly, the others are haphazard and unintentional. And for those of you who saw me skulking in the back of your mega camp that one day when I was going to come hype the class, and as it turns out, Gary Keller wouldn't stop talking so that I could talk, then I really loved what I was hearing. I loved sitting in the back. There's so much good stuff going on. Admittedly, I was there for like 30 minutes, so I wasn't tired, but intentionality came up. And this is all about intentionally owning these buckets. So here we go. Willpower. Who's heard of willpower? Hey, hands in the eyes. All right, so willpower is a thing that we often think about, like, you know, like I'll hop on a call and someone's like, Max, I ran out of willpower. I ate the sheet cake at the party. And I'm just kind of like, the whole sheet cake? Like, yeah, I ate the whole sheet cake. And we talk about willpower like it's this thing you can run out of. You can run out of willpower. It's finite, because it is. But very few people talk about it in a way that you can replenish it or talk about how you spend it. Whoa, health and wealth, everybody. So willpower is a currency. Willpower is a currency. If you've got $10 and you're living in Thailand where $10 goes very far, you can decide how far you want that to go. You can blow it all right out of the airport and spend it on something that you're going to regret, or you can really go and stretch that and get a lot of value. So when it comes to willpower, we have to say, hey, you know what? We can spend willpower. In fact, everything costs willpower. Everything. Watching Netflix too, even Ted Lasso on Apple TV. So when it comes to willpower, we need to spend on something that is high payoff, high return, and that is systems. Now, people talk about 80-20, Pareto's principle, forcing functions. We're going to get into systems building later on. When I say systems, it's kind of, people just think like software or something. But I like to talk about trampolines. So people have heard this factoid before, but the gist goes like this. An Olympic trampolinist will, when they go down, depress the trampoline like 2 to 3 feet. I'm going to round up for easy math and say 3 feet. The world record height that is recorded is 33 feet of elevation following that. That is an 11-fold return on that investment of energy. Systems are things that have that kind of return because they actually make it easier, easier to get the health goals that you have, easier to make the progress you want, get there faster in the middle term. Near term, they will not. I'm going to tell you that right now. They're not going to get you there faster in the near term. Middle term, they will. Long term, they definitely will. And they will make it easier to keep your results long term. Most people do not care about their health enough to want to be working on it like it's their job every single day. You want it to get easier, and I do too, actually. And you can ease off the gas in time if you build good systems. And where do we build those systems? Fitness, food, and capacity. So when we talk about fitness, there's a lot that goes into that. And there's a lot of conceptions and misconceptions, things that are correct, things that are not. And in the end, fitness comes down to movement, development, ownership of what your body is capable of, and yes, exercise, let's bust a sweat, but that needs to go somewhere too. So we think about it. Does anyone here love exercise? Anyone in the room? All right, you with the Lauren. 80s workout apparel, loves exercise. Okay, so what I saw is very few people in this room love exercise. And historically, I would raise my hand, which is weird because I've identified as a trainer for a lot of my career. And now I say I really like exercise, but honestly, I like doing other things. And so what it comes down to is it's not about, if you love exercise, great. I'm not going to ostracize you right now. So if you love exercise, that's great. But if you don't, it's not about actually making you love exercise. It's about helping you to fall in love with what your body can do. So if fitness has that intention, we have to have a direction here. It's not just about hop on the elliptical and burn a bunch of calories unless you really enjoy that. It's very meditative for you. It needs to go somewhere. Food. Messy, primal, emotional. You've been doing it since the womb. Food is hard for many reasons. And food is something that we can systematically pick apart. It's called the mind-to-mouth model. I really like exercise. And so, and then the last bucket, and we're going to get into food in week 4. That one's going to be a fun one. I love food because, as I had said when I first came in here, I could write on the wall, which I will not, and really share all the ways that people have common pitfalls that show up when it comes to food. The internet's full of it. All right, capacity, time and energy. All that other stuff I just said, you can let it all go because this is the one that matters. That's why it's week 6. We make you come back until the end. All right, so capacity, time and energy, how you spend your time. There's only so much. How you give your energy. You've only got so much. And there are people who are vampires that they want to drain that, whether they realize it or not. It's just like, yes, vampires in the back. So here's the deal. You can have the best fitness plan. You can have the best food plan. But if you have no time and you have no energy, you're not going to have willpower. You cannot make action happen. When it comes to this whole process, if someone becomes a young trainer and they're like, I know stuff, I'm going to save the world with fitness. Well, you start with fitness, and if you're lucky, 25% of your clientele will get pretty good results. Everyone else is going to be frustrated, and you're going to be confused and blushing. Then you find out food matters. And you start saying, you can't out-exercise a bad diet. And then everybody's like, yeah, that's right. That's wise. Well, here's the deal. If you do it right, 50% of your people are going to get results. And 50% are going to look at you and be like, what am I paying for? And those are the people who have capacity that has not been addressed. They do not have enough time, energy, or willpower for the changes that we're talking about, if those changes are even the right changes. So we have to hit these 3 things, which is why, as you can imagine, it's bigger and messier than we think. So takeaway, all actions cost willpower. Choose those that pay you back. Choose those that pay you back. All right, buddy up, y'all. Buddy up. We actually, oh my God, we have an even number of people in the room. This is great. People on Zoom, I'm sorry you don't have anyone to buddy up with unless someone's like sitting in with you, which is pretty cool. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. You guys share and listen without judgment, please. We're gonna have you reflect on something that you've spent willpower on health-wise in your life at some point. It can be really low key. It can seriously just be like, I just wanted to go for a walk and I just didn't. But it did not stick. And I want you to kind of talk about why you think that might not have stuck. Why do you think that was? So think of something, think of anything. And if you're like, I've actually never tried anything with my health. Well, that's fine. Think of something you might want to try and what might help it to get going. We're going to go for a couple minutes here. People in rows. Buddy up, buddy up. Buddy. I don't have a song, but I don't have a song. All right, so people on Zoom, please record it, write it down.
Jordan's been typing.
Oh, Jordan's been typing things. Oh, thank you, Jordan. I love this. Okay, yes. Martha, Canada, I see you on there. I look forward to you all getting some good progress. All right, you guys, buddy up, buddy up. People on Zoom, I'm sorry that you don't have someone with you right now because these people are so freaking animated. Oh my gosh. It's off the chart. All right, everybody. Has everyone said something? Has everyone said something? Yes, yes. Still talking? All right. This is unfortunate. You have people who like each other. Okay. All right, you guys. Has everyone shared something?
Yeah, we shared.
Fantastic. Okay. All right. Everyone has shared something. Okay, great. Does anyone actually share what they said?
I'll share.
Yeah.
So before I came into this, I was a massage therapist for 12 years.
Very cool.
With one of the biggest fitness chains in the country.
Yeah.
And I used to trade with personal trainers on a regular basis.
Zoomers, I will repeat this.
But I would get to the point where I'd be like really sore from working too much, or I would get sick, and then I just wouldn't go back to it because I don't have a lot of discipline.
Okay, so we had someone who was basically working with personal trainers, really cool, and putting in the work, getting really sore, but you said discipline wasn't necessarily there to keep it going in the long term. Hey, thank you for sharing. Excellent, anonymous person in the room. Okay, so from there, all right, who else wants to be anonymous to the Zoomers? Anyone else want to share?
I was a collegiate volleyball player, and I did it for I was doing volleyball for 8 years.
Wow.
And I only did my collegiate career for 1 year because I double majored. And it was just so busy, and I was getting so busy, and I was like, okay, that one day, I was like, I have a lot of homework, I won't do it. So then I did the workout for 2 months, continued, and I was just like, I'm back in it now, but it was just kind of the time.
Totally. Okay, I love it. Zoomers, we had a collegiate volleyball player who was doing like 8 people's worth of college and found that she could not sustain all of it and fell off with the workouts. And very impressive, by the way, on the schooling. Okay, all right, guys. So when it comes down to this RDA, reflect, decide, act, reflect, see what's going on, observe what's going on. Why is something not working? The reason why this brand is called Health Engineered is because we iterate. Even the best, most informed approach, you're maybe 70 to 80% of the way there. If you're lucky, it's in the 90s. But you have to tweak it and iterate it. We're going to talk about that in systems building. You have to adjust over time to get the thing you want. So here's our other takeaway from before. Build systems to get results faster and keep them long-term by dodging burnout. Oh, by the way, so let's talk about this in relation to fitness. Let's say you want to do a workout. Let's say you do a workout. You do that and you spend 10 willpower bucks today. It's funny money. You spend 10 willpower bucks today to make it happen. If you do it, it might cost you 9.5 next week. And it might cost you 9.25 the week after that. And the cost keeps going down over time the more consistently you do it, but it still is going to cost you like 3 willpower bucks in the end. So you can drastically reduce the cost in time, but there is more upfront spend. That's just how it goes with this stuff. You're building systems. Buddy up again, back to the same person. So from here, you guys, what is a system you use in your life? So I'm going to give an example that you cannot take. All right, sorry. Does anyone here brush their teeth? Show your hands. Show your hands. Hey, anyone floss? Are you one of those extra credit people? Oh, wow. Okay, not as many. That's fine. All right, so we got people who brush, we have people who floss. How long does it take you to brush and floss? How long does it take you to brush and floss your teeth? 3 to 5 minutes a day to avoid gingivitis, to lengthen your life, bolster your immune system, have a beautiful, sparkling smile that's going to make people want to work with you and give you their money. Amazing. Well, what we see is that's a very small investment thank you, Felicia, without judgment, And so, I know, see, I shouldn't have brought up something as controversial as flossing. All right. So what it comes down to is you put in a small amount of time, a small amount of energy. You had to learn this skill, and you maybe didn't want to do it as a kid. I only brushed my front teeth for a little while as a kid. And you get a big return long term. Care for that stuff, and you get a big disproportionate return. That is a small version of a system. You also might say, hey, well, how do I use that system? I do it at a certain time. I do it in certain proximity to certain things in my life. I have certain triggers that remind me. It's dark outside. I'm about to go to bed. Whatever it is, systems are based around a few things. An anchor, something that is actually triggering it. Maybe you've heard that in terms of behavior change. Some kind of reminder, something to actually make you do it, remind you to do it. And then we tweak it and change it over time to make it fit our lives. We're going to go much more in depth with that in the future. But please share with your buddy a system that you personally use in your life. This can be for health. This can be for work. I don't care. Some kind of system that gives you something more back than what you put in. And why do you think it works for you? Okay, people on Zoom, please reflect. Zach will let me know. All right. Can I hear from somebody a system that you use that actually works for you? Something in your life. You just got pointed out.
Oh, okay. I usually meal plan. So I take like one day, either on a weekend or a Monday, and I will like cook for the whole week, or at least for like 3 to 4 days. So
Totally.
I have some dinner options, and even if it's just a prep, so I can throw it in the oven later. So,
Love it. Awesome.
yeah.
Okay, so we've got someone who's meal planning. And you said it was on Mondays?
Yeah, usually Monday.
Meal planning on Mondays, got either like a week's worth or several days worth of food. That's awesome. And how long does it take you?
It depends on what I make, but usually 4 to 5 hours.
That's a heck of a lot of food for 4 to 5 hours. That's an amazing return. That's really cool. So I look forward to you being here in week 4 because we're going to talk about the mind and mouth model, how you're crushing it. All right, more on that, everybody. Let's keep rolling. So let's talk about problems again. Let's all commiserate. So when it comes to obstacles, we need to call them out here. So what I want you to just shout things out. People on Zoom, type stuff. I know you haven't, but I'm just going to keep saying it. Type stuff. Observing obstacles. I'd love to hear, why do you guys think fitness can fall apart for people? Oh my God, time. They're like, no, yeah, there's not enough time. Okay, why else?
Motivation.
Tired, motivation.
Because you convince yourself one day off is fine, and then it's 6 months.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, slippery slope. One day off is cool. 6 months later, I forgot who the gym is. Okay.
But once you get that right in the gym, I don't even know how to spell that word.
Yeah, how do you spell gym? He's great. All right. Anyone else? Any other things?
I can be kind of perfectionist about how I want it.
Mm.
Like, oh, I want to walk, but I don't want to walk in my neighborhood right now. Oh, I want to, like, I have an idea of what the workout should be instead of just doing 5-minute squats. You
Oh,
know
yeah.
what I mean? I have, like, an idea that it's an event instead of it can be small.
Mm.
little things.
That's huge. That's huge. Okay. Zoomers, wanting it to be like this big event, really thought out, like almost, I'm not going to say perfect, but like make it really, really good. But you don't have time for it. You don't have energy for it. And if it's not going to be awesome, why even bother?
Well, because I can actually.
You spend your willpower thinking it up rather than doing. Anything else?
Self-sabotage.
Self-sabotage. Andy, can you say more about self-sabotage? Because it can show up in a lot of ways.
You know, the older I get, when I've done things that have been successful, whether it's getting in shape, losing weight, eating better,
Yeah.
there's this mental, what we call it, our drunk monkey, you know.
Andy's talking about a drunk monkey, everybody. I'm going to stick with him here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bold, here in Keller Range, we talk about, but, you know, it's like you then have good results from the action, you're proud of yourself, and what's the first thing you do? Go celebrate, lay off the gas.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yep. I've earned this. I deserve that wine. I deserve a second wine and a third, or whatever it might be. Yeah, absolutely. So we get a little bit of progress and then we start to set back in other ways. Okay.
Consumers are saying results are too slow.
Results are too slow. Whoever typed that, thank you for typing something. Oh my gosh, yes, results are too slow. And we're going to talk about that in week 2, about how to actually be excited about things that move slowly. It's kind of crazy. If someone ever had a muscle building goal, one of the most optimal rates of muscle building that you can possibly see is 30 grams a day. That's 2 pounds a month. That is like freaking nothing. And yet, how are somebody's going to stay motivated for that somehow. So we're going to talk about how we actually keep that. Okay, results are too slow. Absolutely. So it's about looking for what you need. Food. Let's talk about food. Why can food fall apart? It's so good. Food is tasty. Okay. Because you share an office with saboteurs. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. Community. Right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anything else? You're called a nerd because you brought a healthy lunch. No, I'm just kidding.
Like the cost of eating healthy sometimes. Like if you're so hungry, I could go and get like.
Yeah. Totally. It is in this country. Right. It is cheaper in this country to get food that is quick and easy, and it is not necessarily going to be to your goals. One thing I often talk about with clients is that when you go to a restaurant, they're going to make tasty food. It's going to hopefully fit your budget if you pick the right restaurant, and it's going to get there in a time that you're okay with. But the thing is, they don't care about your goals, right? Because their job is to serve you the food that is branded for their company that will continue to sell. It's not that they're trying to sabotage you, but they just don't, they're not as invested as you will be, because no one will ever be as invested as you are. Okay. All right, guys, careful now. Andy's in the room here. All right, so time and energy vampires. What is something in your life that you spend time on that you're like, I would rather not? I'd rather not. Laundry, kids. Laundry, kids. I'm 7 weeks into the journey. Please don't make me think. No, I'm just kidding. All right, kids, laundry, anything else that takes your time that you don't want? The NFL. Oh, yes. Facebook. Does anyone else think it was a conspiracy that their thing went down yesterday? No, I'm just kidding. All right, TikTok, social media, right? Anything else? Does anything take your energy? Now, by the way, when we think anything, I'm talking people, I'm talking about roles, I'm talking about things you do. You don't have to name them if they're in the room or at all. But in the end, does anyone, let me put it this way. Does anyone have any energy drains? Show of hand. Yes. Pointing at someone. Yes. Great. Yes. Hormones. Oh, yes. Hormones. Absolutely. If I had to guess, we're talking about the menopause. So, if I was guessing, but I'm just guessing. So yes, absolutely. Hormones, hormonal fluctuations, or yeah, menstrual cycles. We're gonna see there's actually a variation in when some people are gonna have to consider, when am I more productive? What can I do to navigate that? How do I mitigate my symptoms? 100%. Good people on Zoom. Okay, all that stuff we just said and more, that's the checklist. You've got to find and figure out your checklist of problems, write it down, because if you dismantle all those things, you're gonna be crazy excited about what happens to your health. Okay, so if we do this right, here's where we go. What we've seen is people shift from an external locus of control. What happens, things happen to me, they don't happen for me, to an internal locus of control. I can do things, and I'm gonna focus on what I can do. Something is better than nothing person in the back. So from here, we start to shift into being problem solvers and solution seekers. That's in health, but as you can imagine, I'm pretty sure your clients, when it comes to real estate, would actually love that too. I don't think they're gonna be disappointed if you're like, hey, I've got this awesome solution for this thing we've run into. It's all about resolving what's come up. Now, here's some data, okay? Because you know what? This is stuff from real clients. Red, not so good starting point. Seafoam, that's where we got to in time with changes. Focus and productivity at work went up. Okay, well, 2 of them. Sleep, big wide band, low troughs, very erratic, higher, more consistent. That's sleep right there. Energy, low, big swings, higher, more stable. Pain and tightness. Debilitating, this person could actually barely go to work, and that meant sitting on the couch for work because it's COVID. Gone. They stopped tracking because it went so well. Mood and positivity, people said things, life-changing, whatever, and other people observed it. But here's the thing we think about. This stuff works. Mood, positivity, that's energy and that's presence. That shows up in It's not, it's going to come up later. I didn't put the slide in the right spot. I should have put it right there. All right, anyway, energy presence, that is engagement. Engagement leads to profitability. Engagement leads to higher productivity. Takeaway, your cared for self is your best self. I don't think anyone's mind is blown by that, but we're going to get back to this in a second here. If you care for your mind, if you care for your body and care for your health, like your career depends on it, you're going to show up with more energy and presence. That's confidence. That's you making moves that other people would not. That would be you acting like you are serious about what you do. A question I'd love to ask myself is, what would serious look like here? Am I just showing up? Am I doing the work? Or am I really, truly serious about this? You show up more engaged. You're ready to rumble. You bring your best. And that means higher profitability, 21% more profitability for some people, and that's an average. Your best self has the health you want. Your best self has a bigger impact on the world around them, the people they work with, their own life, and your best self has more money. In fact, we could just say that your best self has the life that you want. Your cared for self is your best self. Your best self has the life you want. Whoa, we made it to the end with 3 minutes to spare. This is incredible. All right, you guys, so here's the deal. I said a lot of stuff. Hopefully, you people on Zoom wrote down something. If not, that's, well, we've recorded this, so I guess that's good. People in the room, hopefully you wrote down something or found something that resonated with you, because we need you to take it away. WIIFM, what's in it for me? Make it your own. Turn it into your own language. Learn it like you're going to teach it. From there, we need you to take action, because in the United States, in 48 hours, people forget 80% of what they learned. So you got to do something with it. Your retention goes up a ton if all you do is touch this information in the next 48 hours. Something. Now from here, we're going to be guiding you through stuff you can do. It's free. Basically, you get to work with me at a distance through this process. And what you're going to do, all you're going to do is, my email is here, max@healthengineered.co. It's not a .com, .co. Someone went on the internet, took my website. So max@healthengineered.co. All you're going to need to do is message the word guide, and I'm going to send you a Google form that's going to allow you to actually do things. It's just going to guide you through a process of implementing some of this stuff to your life, and it's going to go week on week. We're just going to roll along like that, so you can actually do things as we go along. If you want to write more words, you can say that too, but either way, guide is great. So from there, motivation, willpower, and how to have more of it is what we're going to be getting into in seminar 2, because as we've talked about here, motivation is based on your image, your old friend test. What do you want? If you're motivated, well, you're going to have more willpower to spend. If you manage your willpower effectively, we're going to talk all about how to do that, how to have more, how to get more, how to keep it. You are going to have more to spend. You can build those systems. You can make those changes, and you can accumulate what you need in the long term. So even if, whoever said it, the results are coming in slowly, you're not going to quit just yet. You're actually going to get somewhere in the long term, because this is a long-term game. Even if you were 10 years old, you spent 10 years old getting to the health and the life and the rhythm that you've got. It will take a little while, more than a week, more than a month, to get where you want to go, but done properly, you're going to love it. So that's all I have. I'm going to stick around to chat, hang out. I think you guys are going to probably like bust off into your lives, but people on Zoom, if you have questions, again, my emails are send questions my way. Zach's contact info will be available. Guys, thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. We'll see you guys next time. And we're about to die. All right. Mic's off. Goodbye, Zoomers.